You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Show. We're going to keep you up to date and current in all sports. We'll make sure you're aware of everything in corporate and enterprise business. And most of all, we'll share with you how to make a little more money as we cover the NBA, the NFL, and Major League Baseball. All colleges. You ready? Let's do this. The Chicago Sky. My. How about the Chicago Sky? Chicago Sky just hit a jackpot. Hiring a player magnet in Tyler Marsh from the Las Vegas Aces.
It's really hard to measure impact. First of all, I didn't know what I was getting. I knew I was getting a good one.
The Chicago Sky just hired a player magnet. Okay, the name is Tyler Marsh, and they just hit a jackpot. Okay, and this jackpot is going to keep growing and growing and growing. Okay, Becky Hammon had an opportunity, thank you to the Las Vegas Aces, to give a tribute to Tyler Marsh.
Turns out I got a great one. And I think his impact, not only on just building a rapport and a relationship and a trust with our players and really anybody who interacts with him.
This individual here is different from any other individual that the WNBA has seen as a head coach. Tyler Marsh, head coach of the Chicago Sky. Michael Alter, you hit a jackpot. Okay, and this one here is a player magnet. This one here has been around the game. This is somebody who is a listener. Which is
Stay solid.
He's one of my first phone calls, you know. I want to know his opinion. I want to know what he thinks. He's got a great ear. He's got a lot of wisdom and discernment on how he says things and when he says things.
He's one of the highest quality of a WNBA coach as a male you can have. You have to listen. And when you watch and hear him and how the players react to him. This one is a jackpot that's coming out of the pike for Angel Reese, right? There's no doubt about it. You got a jackpot. Okay.
Just a really, really solid human being. Foxhole guy. If I'm going to war, I want Tyler in my bunker.
Okay, Angel Reese, Carmilla Cardosa, okay, Trinity Carter, all right? And, you know, I'm a big fan of Diamond DeShields, right? I think she's a great ball player. I brought up a trade. The Fever didn't think this one would work, but that's okay, because that's part of basketball, and you got to have what you want as an organization. However, I tell you this is Diamond DeShields. If she's not moved and stays with the actual Chicago Sky, she will actually be in double digits and will be seeing a different player.
I just don't know if you can find much more solid person than Tyler.
Now I'm going to take you one step further, okay? Because my Chicago Sky, you hit a jackpot, right? So here's the jackpot. Here's the other piece of the jackpot that you got to put in consideration. And this is the off season, but I know Clutch. And I know Aja Wilson, the coach, is represented by Clutch. And you may see Jackie Young and Aja Wilson in Chicago uniform.
So, I appreciate y'all, man.
I repeat, Jackie Young and Aja Wilson potentially could be in Chicago uniforms, right? Because at the end of the day, who trained these two players? Who got them to the level they are today? Tyler Marsh, right? So the logistics just work itself out. And when you get into something like this, you just have to understand and respect it. Now, when he went a step further, Becky Hammon, thank you again to the Las Vegas Aces, because this is just a critical take. And when I see players, WNBA players, the reaction of a player magnet, someone who understands. And Becky Hammon is saying, I didn't know what I got. I was shocked, right? Because she's talking about a special individual, right? You're getting back to it. My, the Chicago Sky have hit a jackpot, right? There's no doubt about it, right? And when you got a coach that's a player magnet, that means the WNBA players, the women, want to come play for him, right? This is not something that you're going to have to fight it out. I mean, he's been in the NBA. So between when you look at it going from the WNBA to the NBA to the WNBA, for Tyler Marsh, there's no difference. Okay, a coach is a coach, and the development is the key, right? Because sometimes you're going to get a couple type of coaches that come here and they actually do this, right? But when you get people who know how to develop, Angel Reese, right? You're going to have this development, you're going to get into it. And it's fascinating to be able to take that player to the next level, right? Because you got somebody has a desire to do it, and everybody's discounting. And I'm telling you, this is impossible. I'll be the first to tell you it's going to be impossible because when I dig down deeper, okay, you got Tyler Marsh is just like Phil Handy. And you got to know who Phil Handy is, and I got a lot of respect for Phil Handy of the Los Angeles Lakers. And Phil Handy is one of the only coaches that I've seen in the NBA stand right up to LeBron and say, "You're out of your mind, you nuts!" Right? They're going at it on the court, but when you look at somebody who can train and develop, folks, this is the part of the business that a lot of coaches shy away from. You get a project like Angel Reese. Tyler Marsh embraces the project of Angel Reese because he knows what he can do with Angel Reese, right? You get a lot of people who want to be coaches, right? They want to be coaches, but they can't develop players. They can really stand on somebody else's work. When you get to Tyler Marsh with Chicago Sky, and I'm really pushing Angel Reese because Angel Reese is going to go way up the charts, right? Because everybody thinking Angel Reese, okay, 2020, Angel Reese game. I don't look at what other people look at as far as evaluation of players. Okay, I have a set of intangibles that I look at that are not analytics. So you're not going to tell me, okay, the shooting percentage, the rebound, all that's things that what you do is you can punch it in the AI, you can see it. Angel Reese has intangibles. Angel Reese has speed. Angel Reese has quickness, right? That's the same thing I can tell you about Nelissa Smith, right? Nelissa Smith, if you lined all the players up and say, let's race up and back the court, right? You're gonna sprint it out. This Melissa Smith probably outrun them all, right? Because you got that kind of speed and you have that powerfulness in the bike. Well, Angel Reese is so quick with her feet, her reaction time. You put it through an NBA if you put Angel Reese through an NBA combine drill, the four-corner drill, right? Angel Reese is going to be charting up there with the men, right? Because her feet are so quick and her reaction speed is so fast, right? So you got a super talent. Now you got to put it in perspective and you got to start drilling it down. And that's where the development comes, right? Because everybody can't do that, right? But when you look at somebody who can, well, Tyler Marsh could do that, right? He'll take Asia Wilson and say, look, here's the deal. Let's get you going this way. Let's get you doing this. This is what a person does that actually knows how to develop the players. A lot of coaches, I'll tell you, they're coaching in the NBA. They have to take veterans or ready-made teams because everybody can't take a player from A to Z, right? And the most of the guys that get in the NBA, and when you really get down to it, and you look at how much does it cost to get a player in the NBA, it costs a single player about $400,000, right? That's what the overall cost, almost 500. Because by the time you get that freshman, it's going to play in about 6 or 7 events. You're going to travel. You got to travel a whole team. That's going to cost you $60,000 a year right there. Then you're going to put training in there. You're going to have food, hotel stays, everything. That's another 20. So you're 80,000 in year one. You go ahead and do that 4 years. That's 320,000. And then I was at the Peachtree trying to get in the NBA and get in the draft, right? So when you get the women's grassroots now and it's growing, I mean, it's going to be around the same thing. They're not getting paid as much money yet, but all that's going to change. And this guy's a magnet, right? I mean, he's a magnet. He's all about championships. He's a family man, okay, and he gets it, right? He gets it. So Chicago Sky hit a jackpot that when you take somebody, again, you're represented by Clutch, right? So you got to look at who the Clutch players, right? Because this guy trained, he can get it done. He can do just about in the end every piece of the job, right? But here's what a lot of people miss on, and really what people have to understand when you do this in the NBA and how it works and everything. Okay, the NBA players, you look at Shaq and Dwayne Wade, right? They have Angel Reese and you got D Wade's donor, right? So D Wade spent a little time with Danny Ainge up in Utah. I mean, he gets the drill. Most of these guys in the NBA, they're their own general managers, right? They create their own teams, right? So why would the women not be able to create their own team in Chicago and bring Chicago championships again, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're bringing in the coach, okay, and you're bringing in the talent, okay? And this man is already a player magnet. Nobody in the WNBA, I don't think, can touch this. And I'm telling you, Becky Hammond broke it down to say this person is different from anybody else I ever been around, right? So if you have that, and players communicate. In the WNBA, they communicate. They know who's the best trainer. They know who's getting the work, who's not, and they are excited about playing for Tyler Marsh. I haven't seen this much excitement from players who are coming to play for a coach, right? I mean, they're just coming to play for a coach. But this is not an ordinary coach. This guy here just does things differently. And you look at Parker. I mean, this guy's a listener. This guy understands it. This guy understands emotion. And there's a thing about coaching women, and here's where a lot of men, they get it, they don't, or you might miss it. When the women know you really, really deep down in your heart care for them, okay, and you got their back, they will run through a wall for you. I mean, literally run through a wall. They will back you up. They love you. I saw this, and you got to look at this, folks. The way they're giving him a tribute and how a player literally slips is so excited. That is the emotion that wins championships in the WNBA. And this is what this young man's going to do, right? Because the writing's on the wall. Chicago is a major market, right? So you get to the major markets in the WNBA, and how do all the major markets shake out? Well, Chicago's one of those, right? So you got somebody here that understands that I can go and do this in just about any city. Why not do it in Chicago? Okay. And you get to those players. I'm looking at two of them. There's shakeup going down in Las Vegas, and the shakeup may end up in Chicago. Folks, it happens this way in pro sports. And with the expansion and everybody moving, going in different directions, players on the move, coaches on the move, and I got a feeling that you may see, okay? Now, again, it's my opinion, okay? But if it turns the truth, I'm giving you the facts long before it happened. And there ain't no way in the world you can tell me today that Asia Wilson and Jackie Young don't fit the Chicago Sky, right? Because they got a couple championships already. Why not go win more, right? Because at the end of the day, it comes down to how many chips you're going to get. Shaq and D Wade got a lot of chips. That's a lot of chips, folks. Okay, you want to talk about Shaquille O'Neal and Dwayne Wade, get it? Dwayne Wade was spent time up in Utah, okay, and now he's over there with the Chicago Sky. These guys know how to build a team, and this one here is going to be hard to beat in the WNBA. Now, why am I saying this? Because Becky Hammond doesn't really give out, really, I mean, compliments, right? It's hard to get a compliment out of Becky Hammond, but when you do, it's a heartfelt compliment. And I've never seen Becky Hammond talk about a person in this way of really being emotional to tell the truth. I didn't know what I was getting, and that was Tyler Marsh. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We're powered up by Fanatics, WNBA offseason. Everything's on the move. Angel Reese got somebody who's going to work with her. She's protected. She's managed, really. And when you talk about management and when you talk about WNBA player management, the number one thing to remember, key to managing the players, you got to get the player the training, right? And that's what Clutch is really good at. And most of the guys at the top, they're good at that, right? Because if you take Caitlin Clark, she gets, $1 million training, right? They're spending $1 million on the body. So you got to look at that. And Chicago Sky are a big market. There's big markets. You got New York, you got Chicago, you got Philly, you got LA, right? You got Connecticut or Boston, right? Those are big markets places, San Francisco. So when you get to the big markets, no matter how you shake this down, the big markets have to win. That's why the New York Liberty, that's a big market. They got to win. So the way the leagues are built, it doesn't matter if you're the Major League Baseball, you're the NFL, or you're the NBA. Big market teams have to win. Who won the NBA this year? A big market team, Boston, right? So the revenue is higher if you get Boston and LA in the championship finals. Well, the revenue is going to be high in the WNBA too, because at the end of the day, the revenue is going to be high before you even get to the WNBA championship. And why? Because you got Chicago Sky and the Indiana Fever got to play each other. So one of you is not going, and whoever gets the edge the earliest is going to be second play. Other one's going to play second fiddle for a long time. That's the reality of the game, and it's an arms race with Indiana, right? You got Indiana, you got Chicago. And I'm telling you now, if you don't think this stuff is bad blood between Indiana and Chicago, let me tell you how bad blood it is. You're going out there and watching Indiana, okay, Indiana, Illinois college basketball game. This stuff started long before you got to the WNBA. You're just seeing the bottom result of the Indiana and Chicago fans, but this has been going on for a long time, right? And I know my good friend is, Rod Hawkins. Rod, I got a good friend, Rod Hawkins, right? I'm trying to we got to get together. But Rod Hawkins is over there he's over there in Illinois. He's got a son plays in Illinois, and I can only imagine what he's going through. But Tyler Marsh is going to get this done, folks. And I'm just telling you now, this one here is going to be hard to stop. I don't care who you are, what you are, and how to do it. It's a family man. He's a magnet for players. And when you get some... You're listening to the Money Mike syndicated radio show. We're going to keep you up to date and current in all sports. We'll make sure you're aware of everything in corporate and enterprise business. And most of all, we'll share with you how to make a little more money as we cover the NBA, the NFL, and maybe the players want to run through a wall. They want to play for you. They will play for less money to come play for Tyler Marsh. That's a picture of his beautiful baby that he's had. He's a first-class individual, and he's standing tall as the new head coach of the Chicago Sky in the WNBA. All things are possible to those who believe, and this is something to believe. My, the Chicago Sky have hit the jackpot.